So this is a little tour of my office. There's two ways to get in. There's the main door that I use, and there's the fairy door that, fairies use. And they have windows that they can look out of or peek in. And then we go in, which my office is on the second floor in my house. I'll try to keep this still. First thing you see is the welcome sign on my door with a happy moo cow. And I usually keep my SEBWI hoodie hanging here. Right now we just got my jacket flap hat, and I wear those a lot. So I'm going to spin around and we'll do a tour this way around. Now the main colors that I use in my office are lime green, orange, and teal. That's my personal color palette. Sometimes it goes towards aqua, but you can see it right here. This was my grandfather's chair that got painted aqua. It was supposed to be teal. Chose a lighter color, didn't mean to. And an old stereo cabinet that has some orange magazine holders in it, which they fit just perfectly. It also holds my stereo, where I keep my receipts and some projects that I'm working on. And our music server is right there. And this was my teddy bear when I was a little kid. His name is Winnie the Pooh, and yes, I know he's purple. In my world, he was purple. And then every time I give out rubber duckies, I guess people have figured out I love rubber duckies, and I've started a collection. So I have a lot of rubber duckies. Behind me is what used to be my ego wall. This used to be all over the wall. It was a little bit messy. So now it's two corkboards, and they are lined in lime green and have all kinds of fun stuff on them. And I'll show you a little bit. Like these are thank you notes, letters from teachers, students, whatever, from friends, stuff like that. I like to keep them there. Skippy John Jones is hiding behind my swim schedule. Just some fun things on here. Things that make me happy. That's a fan letter or two. Some writing competition awards. Kind of neat. And then my letter E, which is what I go by, the lowercase e. And if you go down, you've got my orange lamp, which I think is so very cool. And my husband and I like to buy art, especially on our anniversaries. And this is my space panda. We just thought he was groovy. But behind all of this is where I keep a lot of my works in progress. I just put all of my picture book manuscripts on the wall as I'm working on them. There's more over here. So as I'm working on dummies or the manuscript or sketches or whatever, I just put a bulldog clip on them and tack them to the wall. And this way, if I've got an editor in mind, I can turn around and say, I think that one would be a good fit, or maybe that one. And I can really think about it as I'm looking at them. There's a lot more than this. They're in a drawer and will probably never see the light of day. They get retired eventually. And my wall lizard, which I love wall lizards. I have several in the house. And I have art, which gets changed out from time to time. If there's a gallery show, they have to leave. So sometimes there's nothing there. And actually, they are going to a gallery show soon, so there will soon be nothing there. And then this is where I work. So I've got my little drawers there with the little orange things, my Wacom tablet, which I love, Marvin the Martian holding all my pens. I have dual monitors. I'm working on a novel right now, so that's Scrivener. And I've got a cordless keyboard, which I actually really love this keyboard. It works really well. Underneath, I have my footrest. I've got two Danish yellow footrests that I put some cool fabric on. The other one is usually underneath where I can rest my feet on it. We had to cut a hole in my desk so I could put my feet up. And my grandmother needle pointed that lovely footrest right there, which I love that. And right there is where Bernie usually is. He's found a sunbeam around the other side, so we're about to say hi to Bernie. Where is he? Hey, Bernie. Yeah, he doesn't want to be famous. Anyway. So here is the filing cabinet at the end, which is lime green. Lots of arcs, which I'm reading right now. My massive printer that I use for giclées. And several picture books that I'm researching right now just to get ideas and stuff. And dummies as well. So here's Max and Olaf. And I do my dummies sometimes really rough like this. Or I get them done at Lulu. Lulu.com. That's Poppy the Book Fairy. These are still trying to sell, so cross your fingers. And I'm not so good with files, but I love folders. So I have different color folders for everything. And around this side is my drawing table. And the reason my stool is out here is because I've been working on this thing called a little library, which is going to be auctioned off to help raise money for these, I think for the library. Anyhow, it's a work in progress. It's not done yet. And I'm not usually a painter, so this is challenging. And I'm working with some acrylics, and I use little egg crates to wash those in and my brush there. So this has become paint central, which has been interesting. I love to paint, I'm just not very good at it, I don't think. I'm an illustrator, that's different. And here are my orange bookcases. Hi Bernie, no pieces, please ignore me. And on my cases I have lots of neat things. I have a troll that never got fired, so he's lost all his toes and fingers. I have my love monsters that I love to make, and lots of bones because I think bones are cool. More love monsters. Stuff up top, dolls that I've made, puppets that I've made, Owlie, Skippy John Jones, more dolls that I've made. I've got Pete the cat, a Finster, the folk art. She used to be a redhead. She's faded. A birdhouse that's really cool. My sock monkey, which is really cool. That just makes me happy. Oh, he took a dive. I'll fix him later. Anyway, so we got curtains over my windows and a lovely bird that a friend made me. That's Susan Neese made that for me. She hangs up right up there. And then I have all my supplies for school visits, which I kind of keep together with my easel and all that, so I can just grab them and go. And things that are too big to be stored elsewhere go in this lovely antique basket. And then there's my very hard-working closet, which has a John Rocco poster on it right now. Hope I'm not going too fast. And I do a lot of shipping, so there's actually a lot of shipping supplies in here. And I give out a lot of rubber duckies. So there's more rubber duckies and more sketch pads and diaries and stuff. Actually, sketch pads are my diaries. Christmas cards, markers, colored pencils, a sombrero, all kinds of stuff is in here. Papers. I use a lot of different kinds of papers depending on what I need. And postcards. And the bureau has a lot of interesting things going on in it. Let's see. Here's a lot of my old postcards, mailing postcards. I've done them for years. I have a ton left over. I've done stamping companies, so I have a ton of sample stamps that they sent to me. I have lots of dummies. See, I told you some of them are retired. There's more, all through this bureau of stories that'll never see the light of day. Lots of dummies. Great Dane Dipsy, The Big Blue Oops, Glitter Girl, well, no, let's see, Queen Bee. You know, there's just a lot of stories that will never make it out there. So I've been doing this for a while. Portfolio stuff. This is actually my portfolio hiding in there. It's green. And lots of printouts for my portfolio because you're constantly putting it together for different people or events, you know, whatever the need is. Printer papers and also sketches that I do for Coloring Page Tuesdays. I always keep them for documentation, or some of them might have another use someday. I never know. Lots more dummies and sketch pads, and the bottom one has more sketch pads in it. So that's a pretty hard-working closet there. Let's see. Let's come around to here now. Now this bookshelf, there's the colors at the top, my office colors. That is just a shoebox, and I just adore that color, so I keep that shoebox sitting right where I can see it. And the orange, and more of the teal or aqua, and my cousins. On top are books that'll fit on that short little shelf. The next one is mid-grades, YA, more. This is the first thing I ever bought with my own money, so that's always meant a lot to me. Bookmarks, always grab them and go. On this shelf are some old antique books and storybooks and how-to books. And on this shelf are all the books of mine that I have in stock right now, because I tend to need them for things. And then on the bottom I have illustration annuals, things like that. So that's pretty much it. That's my office. That's where I hang out. It's a pretty comfortable space. Bernie's moved almost to his happy spot, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks.